not been the same since the great Stephen A. has departed. First Take is doing well. His little radio show is moving along. And SiriusXM continues to
Way to go, Stephen Boy! Way to go! Way to go!
You sound like Vince Lombardi. That's what Vince used to say.
Like you.
Chuck Marcy. Way to go, Chucky. Way to go.
Way to go!
With Mr. Torrey. How are you, Stephen A?
I'm doing great, man. It's always good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
All right. How's life? How's the...
Life is good.
Let's do First Take first.
Sure.
Ratings are good. Things going well?
We're number one. I mean, year-over-year ratings. We're up. We've got a press release out right now. Number one, 10 to 12 noon, 18 to 34 demographic, 25 to 54, all of this stuff. Number two overall in cable, so we're good.
Do you have extra competitive juices to beat your old partner Skip on FS1?
I have extra competitive juices to beat anyone who goes against me. That's just the way that I am.
Any extra because it's a Skip and you work with him for so long?
Not at all. Not at all. I love him. He's my brother from another mother. We're tight. We still keep in touch. But he's doing what he's doing. I'm doing what I'm doing. And it doesn't matter who's in that position. I'm going to go at him.
Have you tried to adjust your game a little bit with Max?
You have to. You have to because, Skip and I are identical from this perspective that we feel what we feel and we don't give a damn what anybody else thinks. Max is the kind of person that's like, I can't believe you can't comprehend what I'm saying. I have to convince you. So, he's far more kinder than somebody like myself, and that's why it's working.
All right, so there's a scenario where you try to fit in a little bit more with, say, Max than you would have necessarily done with Skip.
I don't have to. I mean, with Max and I, you know what? You work. We have disagreements, but you have to work a little bit harder to find it because we're both from New York City, similar sensibilities, things of that nature. Skip's from Oklahoma. I'm from New York City. I'm in my 40s. He's in his 60s. I'm old school. He's old school. And so we thought entirely differently, and we never even had to discuss anything. I never even had to ask him what he felt because I knew it would be opposite of what I feel. Whereas with Max, sometimes we do share the same thoughts, and that's why you have to find it.
Does he have? I know he loves boxing. Does he have a sports strength? What's his sports?
He knows
strength?
his basketball, man.
NBA, college,
Max Kellerman knows his basketball. Make no mistake about it, just like I know my boxing, but he's a boxing expert. I'm a basketball guy. But we definitely bring that to the table, and I love football a hell of a lot more than he does, but he's very knowledgeable.
Is he good with the baseball?
Yeah, I think so. He's very knowledgeable about baseball.
Oh, he is. That's good.
Incredibly knowledgeable about baseball. I mean, listen, the man knows his. I should not have said just basketball because he knows his baseball too. Diehard Yankee guy.
Why has baseball with the I'm the generation past you now.
Right.
You came after.
That's all right.
Why
you don't look it, doggy. You don't look it.
But why has baseball, from a media perspective, with the new host, why is baseball completely falling off the table? You got a theory on that?
I don't think that baseball...
You do it when you have to do it, but it's not an...
Oh, you're talking about for the show?
Yeah, I'm just overall from a media perspective.
You turn on... Listen, you pay attention to numbers. We know what's going on every day. We know what we do every quarter hour. You pay attention to the demographics, the kind of things that they're interested in and watching. We could do a subject on football. We could do a subject on basketball. We could do a subject on boxing. And it would far exceed the interest that we did on a subject in baseball. And that's where it comes from. It's not that you never talk about it. It's just that it has to be.
You feel your audience doesn't care as much about it as the other sports.
They don't. They don't care as much. They don't care as much. They care about the big names, but the overall sports and the nuances that come with it, they don't care about that nearly as much as they care about basketball and football.
Now, Houston and the Dodgers did much better ratings.
Without question.
Much better ratings than even Golden State.
And First Take, we talked about the World Series every day.
Oh, you did? Okay,
every day.
Every day. I'm happy to hear that. Right. I'm trying to protect baseball.
No, you should. You should, because baseball is a great sport. Baseball's problem is that baseball hasn't done a good enough job of marketing itself to a younger generation, but the people that have always loved baseball will continue to love baseball. They just have to do a better job of marketing themselves to a younger audience and speeding up the game.
About 3.5 hours.
Exactly. And just speeding up the game. That's it.
All right.
But I love baseball.
What's your take on the Cavaliers right now? Let me hear.
It's a mess. As you know, I have a recurring role on General Hospital, the soap opera. My character's name is Brick. I'm a surveillance expert for the mob. And so I know a thing or two about soap operas, and they put soap operas to shame.
But it doesn't mean anything. Drama. Does it mean anything in the big picture?
It means everything in the big picture. Because
we fought this last year, and they still got to the final.
Well, you know what? First of all, Boston is good this year. They're lucky Gordon Hayward went down. Number two, DeMar DeRozan in Toronto look a bit formidable.
They always kill them, though.
Number three, Isaiah Thomas is not Kyrie. Neither is anybody else. And LeBron doesn't have that guy to lean on. And number four, and more importantly, it speaks to whether LeBron James is going to be interested in staying in Cleveland or moving on.
Well, they got the number one pick. I don't think they're going to trade it for anybody, including DeAndre Jordan. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. That's one of the biggest reasons why they won't make moves, because they don't want to surrender considered the number one pick. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is, what is the number one pick for Cleveland going to do for this Cavaliers?
Oh, nothing. But does it have anything to do with maybe keeping LeBron there, knowing that he's got the number one pick?
No.
They win the lottery. They got the first pick in the draft.
So what? Tell me who's the number one pick going to be.
Well, who knows?
Bagley out of Duke or somebody. Come on now. And there's nobody in college basketball or in Europe that we know of that's going to make an immediate big-time difference for the Cavaliers next year.
Probably right. Now, the problem I have with everybody going crazy about their issues at the moment, you mean to tell me right now in a best-of-7 series when he's into it, somebody in that Eastern Conference is going to beat him?
I'm saying to
Toronto ain't beating him.
I'm saying to you,
Boston maybe.
That as phenomenal as LeBron James has been in the past, do you realize that Kyrie Irving averaged about 29 in the finals?
Oh, he's very important.
The dude is special. He's gone now, and he's on another team. Do not sleep. And by the way, here's the thing that you have to watch out for Boston. I'm not saying Boston should be favored, but here's what you have to watch out for Boston. Unlike Cleveland, they play defense every night.
Oh, they play hard.
They play defense. They got length in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They got shorter, feistier dudes in Rozier and Marcus Smart and those guys. And so when you got a closer in Kyrie Irving, that's the deal.
What were your thoughts on a Blake Griffin trade? I don't mind Detroit making that move.
It didn't surprise me. They never wanted to keep Blake Griffin. They thought that they were going to re-sign CP3 to 5 years, $200+ million. He walked away from it because he didn't want to play for Doc Rivers anymore. As a result, they had to turn around because CP3 walked away and say, Blake, we love you, we want you to stay, and give him $175 million. But they never had any intentions of keeping him.
So CP made them keep Griffin.
That's right. Well, he didn't care, but they had to keep him once they lost CP3 until they were ready to make a deal.
That's another team that's very overrated. Let me see Houston in a big series show.
You can say they're overrated. What I can tell you,
never win.
That's fine. But what I can tell you is this:
Harden never shows up in a big game.
Well, he didn't show up last year in Game 6, but there were a few games where he did show up. I will tell you,
he was terrible against Golden State a couple years ago, and he was atrocious for Oklahoma City against Miami.
Well, I will say this to you. Well, that was 6 years ago.
Well, it counts.
But I will say this to you. If CP3 takes those point guard responsibilities and James Harden just says, okay, you're rested, here's the ball, score for us, it could be a problem. It could be a problem.
Well, they got to have Harden at the ball all the time.
Well, I'm just saying, you don't have to have Harden with the ball all the time. The point is, CP3 with Harden is able to spread the ball and get open threes for the Ryan Andersons, Trevor Ariza's, Eric Gordons of the world. Clint Capella could run the floor, and CP3 could put up points himself. You can't underestimate it. Golden State clearly would be the favorite. But what I'm saying to you is, don't sleep on Houston against anybody else. I would think about OKC, but Robeson's a big loss, and their bench is weak. But those other 4 starters are something to behold.
You are something. You love you. Good to see you again, buddy.
Good to see you, buddy.
When are you coming back?
Anytime you want me to, Doug.
No, I don't mean every now and then. I mean, and on a time slot.
Well, listen, we can work on it.
Figure it out.
The future is bright.
We'll see you later. Stephen A., we continue. Don't go away.